Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you're a fellow toy collector or a fan of pop culture in general, please subscribe to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. I do frequently open recently acquired toys and collectibles, and to celebrate my upcoming centennial episode of Just Open It, I am raffling off this Spider-Man action figure. This line has been coming out for a few years now, but I purchased this figure when it first released back in 2022, I want to say. Yes, it says here, Hasbro 2022. I just wanted a cool Spider-Man action figure. Obviously, this is celebrating the 90s cartoon we all watched after school. And I just thought it would be a cool Spider-Man figure to have. I didn't collect any other characters from this line. And obviously, I didn't open this. And I thought, you know what? If somebody's collecting this line now and maybe you missed this original figure, or you too would just like a cool Spider-Man toy, why not share this with the folks that have been commenting or subscribing to my channel since I started posting these videos a few years ago. So that's all you have to do to win this. Post a comment or subscribe to my channel between now and when I post that 100th episode, and I can't guarantee when that will be, but it will be soon as I share this video at the beginning of 2025. If the 100th episode is posted, obviously the winner has been announced, and this toy is out of my hands and somebody's really enjoying it. So you missed out, and I'm sorry if you're watching this video in the future. But if you're catching it in real time as I post this, and the 100th episode is not posted yet, that means there's still a chance to win this. I hope that's all legal. I can only ship in the United States. I think that might be obvious. I'm sorry to all of my fans in Poland. But please, thank you very much for liking this channel, commenting on my videos, and I hope that somebody that would really appreciate this figure will win it. What I am opening today is this massive classic Star Trek collector figure set featuring all 7 of the original Star Trek core crew members. This thing takes up a lot of real estate in the pile of unopened toys in my living room. So I thought, you know what, as the penultimate episode to my 100th, I thought I would open this bad boy. And I bought it for a few reasons. First of all, you can see the price point. I bought it at Zia Records, which is a used record and multimedia store here in the Southwest. So they not only have records, obviously toys, books, magazines, comics, CDs, so all sorts of media and video games. So I saw this, 25 bucks for 7 figures. What's that, like 50 cents a figure or something like that? I just had to get the deal first and foremost. But secondly, I have the core crew for the Enterprise D, Star Trek The Next Generation, in this Playmates series, in this kind of sculpt and scale. So I thought it would be cool to add the original crew too. I've watched several recent original Star Trek episodes recently, and so I was just kind of in the zone when I saw this, not the neutral zone, but I just thought, you know what, let me bite the bullet on 25 bucks, because again, this is such an incredible deal. Who knows what it was originally priced at, but it is Playmates toys from 1993, so kind of swooping in on that Next Generation craze, and you can see the condition it's in. The plastic is severely yellowed. I don't know if it's ever actually been opened. This is completely the condition I got it in. It looks like I'm going to be able to open it, yeah, pretty easily here. It does says it's a limited edition, individually numbered. So this is number 119,495 out of 150,000. So it's funny that 150,000 makes it a limited edition, because I presume any toy circulated at that volume right now would be warming pegs for quite some time. I mean, what we considered limited edition when I was a kid anyway would be like astronomical numbers now. I mean, especially when it comes to comics and stuff like that. So speaking of astronomical, I'm going to get into this, and let's see, I'm just going to show you the back. I'm not going to read everything, but you can see the details here. Awesome picture, classic picture of the original crew. That's on this side too. And then on the back there are bios for everyone. I'm not going to read those now, but you can see that it's supposed to include these accessories, and I'm curious if it does, Because the nature of Zia is you could bring things in for trade, for cash, or store credit. So it's very possible that somebody, this was pre-owned, it says so on the sticker, so it's very possible that somebody had the figures out, kept the box, and then put the figures back in, and who knows, I just don't see the weapons or the stands or anything on display, so maybe they're kind of buried behind the faux bridge set. And when it comes to just opening things, this is one of those where it's like kind of unfortunate in a way, because like they simulate the bridge here, but in cardboard. So to me, I don't see much point in keeping that. It would be so brittle, I presume. Let's see what happens when I pull this thing out. If it's like mind-blowing, maybe I will keep it, but I assume it's not going to be stable enough to support these figures like on a shelf. So, okay. The box is like literally coming apart. I thought this would slide out more easily, but it's not. Okay. Nothing graceful about this. I'm just tearing it open. Here we go, folks. The most brutal. Just open it. Okay. There we go. That should have been easy. And here we go. A closer detail of the bridge itself. It is very cool, but it's also cardboard. This was kind of already curled in. These corners were already kind of damaged. But man, I'll tell you what, when it's outside of that yellowed plastic, it does look pretty cool. But those bubbles, so what's happening here is these bubbles are stuck to that bridge. So actually, they're kind of taped on there. Yeah, there's going to be no point in keeping this. So I think what I'm going to do is remove the figures one by one here. The chair is so cool though. Okay, that coveted captain's chair. That's just the way it's got to be, folks. Definitely the coolest package ever. But if it was meant for display, I mean, obviously this thing is 93. It's decades old. That plastic is going to yellow. And then what do? Do you just let it yellow to the point where it's impossible to display? And then what's the point at all then of having it? So let's get these figures out so they can at least be shelved and enjoyed. Plus, the figures come with stands, so it's like, why would they come with stands if they didn't want you to take this stuff out? So here's the chair all by itself, which is just kind of a fun, bizarre little item here. And I'm wondering, okay, so taped below the bridge. Those are the stands, okay. Little baggie of other accessories here, and take those out. The stands look like they correspond with the figure's rank or role on the Enterprise. So, okay. I hope that's everything. You guys might remember that I did lose some stuff, some of the blast effects for the Masters of the Universe Origins Night Stalker figure. I just threw those away, not even realizing they were in the box. So I feel like that's everything. Just one more look at this bridge. I mean, Playmates. This is when care was put into the packaging. I mean, I look at action figure packages now, and sometimes you get some really beautiful box art, like the Masters of the Universe Origins. But frankly, I feel like McFarlane Toys drops the ball with a lot of their package art. The graphic doesn't match the toy. The back of the box is just this oversized photo or a piece of comic art. You have no other, you have no idea what other toys are being offered at that time. There's no like line or wave anymore. Figures are being dropped, one-offs and stuff like that. So anyway, there's no real character to those packages. The emphasis is on the toy, which is cool, but with something like this, you can just tell they really thought about that. Somebody designed that, an artist is behind that. And whoever that is, I appreciate you. That's very cool. So, man, I'm so tempted to keep, I might just keep this cardboard chair because, I mean, it's the coveted captain's chair. We see Kirk like looking at this with puppy dog eyes in so many movies at this point. So, okay. Let's get right into this here. I think this is going to be easy. Scotty. You know, the buck for these guys was pretty simple back then. You did have multiple points of articulation where the arm moves a lot here and you kind of get a lot of this stuff going on. I mean, it's funny, they say action figures, but it's not like these figures, other than maybe Kirk, you know, fighting a Gorn or something like that. There was much more of an intellectual quality to Star Trek Adventures. So, you know, you'd be having these figures like talk to each other a lot. So, no action features or anything like that, unless you're going to press a button on the back of Spock's, you know, on the back of Spock and his like hand flings up like that or something. Okay, Scotty, Chekhov. Fun fact, Chekhov was added to the Star Trek cast in the 3rd season of the original series to capitalize on the popularity of one Davy Jones from the Monkees, one of my all-time favorite bands. You know, the girls were just swooning over a young Davy Jones, so Gene Roddenberry said, I want a piece of that. Let's find somebody with an accent and the kind of the Beatle haircut, and they went with Walter Koenig's Chekhov here. And I had the pleasure of sharing a little space with Mr. Koenig at a Star Trek convention. My friend Conrad and I went to a little mixer, not a Star Trek convention, Phoenix Fan Fusion. But the room had the vibe of a Star Trek convention. And he gave a beautiful speech in honor of Nichelle Nichols, and it was just a very cool kind of after-con event. So here's Sulu. Uhura. Uhura. How do you say it? Uhura. These figures are cool. I mean, they're pretty solid. The points of articulation, again, are, in some cases, more than you get with the modern figure. Just kind of curious to see how her legs move with the skirt. There is waist articulation here, too, so you can have her, like, sitting at the comms, and maybe her hand would be, like, here, and she would be like, Captain. She turns like that. I hear something. Okay. Bones. The likenesses on these figures, too. Let's not bury the lead here. These look like these guys, right? That looks like Dr. McCoy. And that's really cool. And so many times you see figures that are meant to be likenesses of actors from movies, and it's like, what, you know, it looks like the person's melting or something like that. These are spot-on likenesses. And Playmates deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, they produced, I would probably say, hundreds of Star Trek action figures between the original series, Next Gen, Voyager, Deep Space Nine. I mean, they ran the gamut of those popular Star Trek shows from the 80s, and then with this original series too. And how many actors must have portrayed different characters that they captured as action figures? I mean, dozens at least. And so to get the likenesses right every time is pretty crazy. So here is Mr. Spock. I love the hand. Very cool. And then last, certainly not least, the one and only Captain James T. Kirk. It's going to be cool to have a Kirk next to the Captain Picard I've had since I was a kid. I had the Next Generation figures when I was a kid. And even then I recognized the Playmates brand was associated with these figures. That was the same company that made the Ninja Turtle figures I loved. So, very cool. I'm just going to open this little bag of weapons. I'm not going to bore you with the stands. But I'm just kind of curious to see what these weapons are like. I say weapons. There's phasers. I think there are phasers and tricorders in here. So let's see what that's like. Now the original, the next generation figures, I say the original because those are the first ones I had, their phasers came with beams shooting out of them. If you collected those figures at all, maybe you remember. And as a kid, I took like an X-Acto blade and I cut those beams off because I thought it looked so silly to be walking around with a phaser that was like mid-fire. I think that's something they kind of rectified in later waves. So I'm kind of grateful to see that that is not a thing here. And yes, they all just come with little original series phasers there, if you can see that. And then also tricorders. So I have 7 of each of these, I think. Or these aren't tricorders, these are communicators. I'm sorry, communicators. I do not need any Trekkers or Trekkies making comments and they, you know, that's not a tricorder. I get it. I know I made that mistake, but no problem. So the figures don't have holsters for the phasers. I believe their hands are all in a gripping position to hold these things, except Mr. Spock, who has his hand up in the live long and prosper salute. So I think I would have him holding a communicator because it would seem hypocritical for him to be saying live long and prosper while he's holding a phaser at you. So this is kind of the look here with that. Put a phaser in Captain Kirk's hand real quick. It's clear which, oh, his hand, okay. His hands are it's a little loose in his hand. So, yeah, that's not like super playable. Maybe you could get them in there and then just don't touch them for display, but so I'll figure that out for each of these figures. But overall, I already knew that I was going to love this set just because, again, the price point couldn't have been beat, and I assume that a place like Zia does its due diligence and that I didn't just open like $1,000 collectible here. If it was for $25, that probably speaks to condition, availability, demand. You know, everybody that wants this probably has it in their collection. So I'm just the guy that bought it now as kind of a Star Trek hobbyist, and I do appreciate the fact that these guys look good. They're solid figures. They'll display well. And they just kind of embellish a collection I already had with the next generation figures. So, all that said, I'm trying to create this bouquet of Star Trek here. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but here they are. The next generation crew. Boom. Look at that. It's like a poker hand of Star Trek goodness. I like them a lot. And I'm super glad I bought them. Again, the price point just couldn't have been beat. And you know what? Let's do this. I got this. So they present this makeshift playset. And although it's very quickly destroyed when you open the package, does the chair retain some usefulness? And this is kind of what you get with that. A little weird. That might be what I looked like watching those Star Trek episodes on VHS a couple weeks ago. But, yeah, these figures weren't built to sit because their legs kind of splay open like that. But that's okay. They'll be standing at the ready, going where no action figure has gone before. Actually, where hundreds of action figures have gone before, onto my shelves. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know I'm pushing 20 minutes with this, a little bit of a chore, but I appreciate you hanging out and indulging this mass opening of this collector set. Tune in next time when I grab another unopened action figure or set of figures from the big pile here in my living room and I say, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.